It feels like Miami.
Miami, 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 Miami.
It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Heat Beat Podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today is not producer and co-founder Brian Goins. Brian's in charge of our t-shirt empire right now. So Brian's locked away in a dungeon, making sure that we get our t-shirt store up for y'all. In his stead, our professional screw-up, Alex Toledo.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
A pod, by the way. People can also listen to Alex on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, co-host of 5 on the Floor. That's where you do your work. That's where you make your bread. That's where you make your money, not over here.
Correct.
Yeah, that's Alex. Alex is big time. Alex is credentialed. We're not credentialed. Alex is credentialed. We were credentialed. That was a long time ago. It feels
worst version of big time ever.
Feels like forever ago, and I would walk out to Hassan Whiteside's locker, and he would hate me. This feels like eons ago, and now they have a good team. All these smiling faces you see, and by the way, if you're a podcast audience, you can follow all our shows live here on twitch.tv/MIAHeatbeat. Get involved with chat, be a part of our shows live. We do live pregame, postgames, and all our pods live on Twitch. So join us right now at twitch.tv/MIAHeatbeat. On the right of the screen, Sam Esfandiari of the Light Years podcast. What's up, Sam? You've been on a bunch. It's good to have you back.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
It's good to have you. And on the bottom of the screen, first time on the program, I've been wanting to have you on forever, the great Andy Liu.
You made a fatal error, but thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Listen, we aspire. Like I've talked to Sam about this a bunch. Heat Twitter and Warrior Twitter, I feel like we're kin, and you would have fit in so well with like big three Heat Twitter.
Oh yes. You know, that's the good thing about rooting for a team that was the villain. There's really no villains now in today's NBA. But back then, when you had LeBron at the peak of his powers, athletically, mentally, all of it, and just people hating him for the first few seasons, I feed on that. Like, that would have been the best just for social media and content. There's nothing better.
Well, like I love now, like now you have pitchforks against poor Steve Kerr. Like what you're out here like slandering Steve on the timeline, which is my favorite because like we experience Heat Twitter, right? And Heat Twitter now all of a sudden we're turning on Eric Spoelstra, which I heard you guys on the pod saying, well, one of the only upgrades to Steve Kerr is Eric Spoelstra. I heard
about that, yeah.
And Heat Twitter is like, well, fuck Eric Spoelstra. Right? Well, who can we get? Steve? Can we get somebody else? I think that's funny.
I heard about. Yeah, I heard about that. That's crazy. That you're not.
I'm not. Fuck. I'm not dumb. Like it's like Alex, you've seen it. It's insane. Like, and I think and we're gonna get into some of Wade's comments on Curry. We're gonna get into a preview of Heat Warriors. That's tomorrow. We're gonna get into general NBA stuff. But I like this is a good place to start because like fans' reactions to shit that I don't think they fully understand. Like they just see the Heat run a revolving door of dribble handoffs, right? And they see like the Heat not score because Andre can't shoot and teams are helping off him on the corner, and then all of a sudden
we know about that.
It's crazy, dude. It's insane. Like Jimmy's running high pick and roll, and Andre's man is like, I cannot guard you, and you're gonna shoot because Andre's a willing shooter. And it's just been a disaster for their offense. Like, was that something that you guys went through a lot? I mean, you guys had much better shooters than the Heat do.
It makes life a lot easier, yeah. When the Warriors had, they could deal with Andre Iguodala. I think the ironic thing is now the Warriors are going through the same problem. So even if they had Andre Iguodala, like we're busy yelling at Kelly Oubre, and Kelly Oubre is a good he would be an elite 3-point shooting option over Andre Iguodala. What we do miss, and I'd be curious to see your take, is we miss Andre Iguodala being able to understand how basketball is played. The way that Steve Kerr likes, the way that Steph Curry likes, because I think the big issue is now the Warriors have a lot of guys that don't know how to play basketball. So they pretty much have Steph and Draymond they're like teachers. They're like middle school teachers. and they're like dragging guys along. So that's kind of how it's going. Andre's smarter than all of them.
I feel like that's Jimmy. Welcome in, Brian, for producer and co-founder Brian goes. Brian, I thought you were working on our t-shirt empire. What's going on?
put me on this graphic saying I was going to be on this podcast over Alex's name. I thought you were banned.
That's
Wait,
not
wait,
true.
can we see designs of the new T-shirt?
Brian, you have
Because-
T-shirt designs. You want to like show them up on your phone? What do we got? We have a trust disposed
Should
system.
we? Wait,
No,
should we?
we'll unveil. No, Sam's not gonna trick me into unveiling our T-shirt empire.
I could show one.
You're not gonna trick me. You're not okay. Brian, you get that ready.
I'm working on a pretty fun one actually.
Why are you in such a dark room? What happened?
It's
Are you
the
in
same
witness
room I'm
protection?
always in. It's just dark. I
It
don't
feels
know.
dark. What is that in the back? I've never noticed that picture. In the
You
back.
look like you're up to something.
Yeah.
That is a SB autograph poster that I got on eBay like 5 years ago.
That is incredibly lame. But okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I thought you weren't. Yeah,
And then-
like
and then if you
Andre.
look really closely, there's a Miami Heat beat poster.
Oh, look at that. That's old. That's from like 2014.
Yeah, there's a
Wow.
Bosch and a Wade one right
Yeah,
there.
we've been running this for a bit.
This
So
is
kind of
incredible content for the podcast.
need
There's
to
some
make
more
like a,
in the front of me, but I have a Hassan one here for some reason. I need to throw that out.
I have a pitch for a T-shirt idea. You need to make like a Mount Rushmore of Heat legends. It's got to be like Wade, Zoe,
preseason Gerald Green.
Udonis.
and then
By Mount
Hassan
Rushmore, you
Whiteside.
want me to like Photoshop their faces?
Yes. I need Wade.
I have
I
a
need
question, 'cause
Zoe.
you
I
guys
need
are like-
Whiteside.
You guys
Whiteside.
are like the kings of
Beasley.
merch.
Chalmers, Beasley.
I have a question because you guys are like
Go for it.
pretty much like the kings of merch right now. Like your limited drops are like the best things ever. How does that
we
work?
can't- we
And should
can't
we
take
start
credit for
doing
it.
that? Because
Shouldn't you ask this after the show? Shouldn't we just
no,
focus on that?
we gotta know the ins and outs. What are we gonna talk about? The Heat?
I liked Andy's talk about how Draymond and Steph are middle school teachers, and I feel like Andre's kind of the same. Andre's babysitting Casey Okpala, who never plays. He's trying to teach Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson how to play defense. He's failing at that.
Fuck that.
Andy.
This team deserves zero coverage.
Andy, he's so mad. Andre's so mad all the time. Like he'll start yelling at Duncan, or he'll get in their ear. It's incredible. Like I feel bad for him because he sat out the year of Memphis because he didn't want to play for a bad team. Memphis looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
You guys could do him a favor, buy him out of there. Get him out of there.
Wow.
Oh, they need that contract. They need that $50 million to match salary for a trade with Bradley Beal. They need it.
It is, Sam. It is crazy how the similarities are the same here right now. The Warriors also talk about Bradley Beal nonstop, and they also whine about how dumb the players are outside of Steph and Draymond. It is literally the same thing.
I feel akin to you guys.
Yeah, no, Heat are officially my Eastern Conference team. We got to relate culture to culture. We're trying to outculture you. You've seen what the Warriors have done with Andrew Wiggins. I don't know that the Heat can match that.
That's culture. That's what we thought we would do to Wiggins. Andy, Sam, we would talk ourselves into Andrew Wiggins. You know, if shout out to Chef Trilly, hashtag free Chef Trilly, would convince us that Andrew Wiggins with culture.
And look, I'm not gonna say too much because 2-3 years ago, I'm pretty sure if you look in the Heat Beat archives, like you'll find me being like, yeah, the Heat could turn Andrew Wiggins into a player at some point, like a trade deadline article or something. No, I mean, look, Wiggins has looked like a really good perimeter defender for the Warriors, but I mean, look, man, they got Hassan Whiteside paid a max contract, so I think that's tough. I think that's tough to beat right there. They got him $100 million, and they got multiple teams offering him that during that summer.
Hey, Warriors got Harrison Barnes $100 million.
Oh man,
That's been my guy.
Would take Harrison Barnes here,
I've
man.
been pounding the table for Harry Beat. Did you guys nickname him Harry Beat? You guys
Yes.
think?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Does he
we
like
might
that?
have.
He probably doesn't like that, right?
Does any Warriors player like anything that I say or Sam says? Like outside of Steph,
Well,
probably.
KD likes Sam, doesn't he? He doesn't like you.
I'll leave that up to Sam.
Sam tried to keep KD in the Bay, and Andy and Ethan Strauss ran him out.
Now that was all Ethan.
That was
Thank you.
Andy didn't write a book. He just shot
book
out
sales,
some tweets.
Book
Nope.
sales, yeah. Shout out to House of Strauss. Good show. And Andy, you were on recently, right?
Yeah, I was,
Yeah.
was on the yeah. Shouts to Ethan.
That pod that he did with Bogut the other day was really good. I recommend it's more general NBA, and if you think the Warriors are interesting, check out that because that was really good, as well as Andy and Sam's pod, Light Years, and everything on Blue Wire. Blue Wire is dope. We have cool shit on Blue Wire. So check out the Blue Wire family. Kind of want to talk. What you got, Brian?
Your favorite podcast is on Blue Wire.
Which one?
Tim MVA's podcast.
Oh yeah, we're having a guest. We're having Tim at Tim NBA on.
I thought we squashed this beef during the finals.
He's coming on now. We're friends now. We've come full circle.
I love that they're familiar with the whole
No,
situation.
yes, no, Sam knows.
Oh, I'm very familiar with it.
Sam is management. Sam knows that I was mean to Tim on
Anybody
Twitter.
with an NBA Reddit knows.
Yeah, everybody with an NBA Reddit. I was the main character of Laker Twitter for a day. That wasn't very fun. They're mean. They're mean.
I put my account on private because I got scared they were gonna dox
Yeah,
me.
Brian rant. Guys, it's the finals, right? The Heat haven't been in the finals since it was 2014, and 2014 Twitter was the Wild West, right? Like it's not that way anymore.
Ooh.
I'm operating under big three Twitter sensibilities, and whatever. I got a little ahead of myself. I was mean to people, and then I was left alone. Brian left me out. Huh?
A little?
A lot. I mean, everybody left me out to dry. I was out there by myself.
We gotta talk about Twitter.
Everyone likes to talk trash, and then someone says something that's supposedly across the line. Also, it's like, whoa, man. Well,
Yeah.
That's not cool. That's not cool. It's the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Twitter gets divided like before 2014, after 2014, right? Like I think that's the fair way to divvy it up.
I mean, because
Hey,
that's.
if you haven't scrubbed your pre-14 tweets,
I mean,
right now.
what are you really doing? I mean, you're living on the edge.
Is that Mark Cuban app still around to delete old tweets?
Was that Cyberdust? Is that what it was called?
I think so. Ahead of his
Genius.
time. I want to talk about. So Dwyane had a comment that Steph Curry is his favorite player to watch in the NBA right now.
Smart, high IQ player.
High IQ guy, and I kind of feel like Steph's Dwyane's 09 season and this like Steph season are really similar, and like not just because they're both like excellent, incredible, top 20 all-time players, right? It's more of like it's Dwyane with a bunch of dudes, right? And then like maybe one guy that's like you can count on every night. And Steph's kind of playing the same, right? Other than Draymond, and he's not helping much on offense in terms of a spacer or score.
No.
I mean he's a fucking basketball savant. But other than that, it's rough. Spacing's out there is rough. And they're about 500, and I kind of feel like this is who the Warriors are. They can beat anyone on a given night. And on any given night, their offense could just not work. And if Steph's not putting up 30 on 50, 40, 90, then, good luck unless somebody else has a random good night. And I don't know. I kind of, Sam, and you had tweeted some number that like Dwyane and Steph and Harden and Jordan are like among a small list of guys who's like 50% from two on like a certain amount of scoring or whatever. Like their seasons over what?
I was going to say for their career, over 50% from two for guards who've played over a certain number of games. Like it's really just like Wade, Jordan, Harden, Steph, like, which is just an absurd list when you think about it, because most guards get stuck taking hard shots from outside. So to be able to make over 50% of your shots as a guard for your whole career, pretty impressive.
And Dwyane didn't play in space, right? Like I see Harden, Harden gets to play with,
yeah,
5
Daquan
out.
Cook, man. What are you talking about?
Daquan and Jermaine and Udonis in the paint. Like I was watching and I've said this on the podcast.
No Darrell Wright slander.
No, I love Darrell. Well, Darrell
he was only good when he got to the Warriors. That's the
Darrell only played 1 year here. Like he actually only played 1 year. He was here forever and never played 1 year. 09, 010. He was good that year. I was upset that Alex, you remember? I was upset they didn't sign him and Q Rich for the LeBron team.
You talking about Darrell?
Darrell and Q Rich. That would have helped.
They could have used Darrell, man. They really could have.
I could use Darrell now. I mean, their offense is so bad. But like I don't know. Like I like the comp between Steph and Dwyane, and like when you have a guy that can do anything on any given night. I know Steph's not the defender he is, Andy, but like you're essentially just watching to see him do some crazy shit. Like at the end of the day, like I don't think you're expecting to maybe bother a team in the first round, but like I think the season's more about the individual than like the team success.
Nothing has I was yelling at Sam this morning. Nothing has gotten me more angry this season than loving Steph and watching him play, and then having the rest of the team piss me off just constantly, from organization to the coach. To Brad, I'm like Brad Wanamaker. I feel bad that all I do is make fun of Brad, but who cares? Whatever. He's making like $3 million a year, it's all Oh, I do. Like, I love Steph. I think most people enjoy watching Steph, and he's fantastic. He looks like he's, back to MVP Steph. And every time I got to watch Kelly Oubre dribble into 3 people in transition and throw up a half-assed 8-footer, I punch a wall. That's how this season's going.
The parallels are there, man. Like, I feel like a lot of us kind of feel that way with Jimmy and the Heat. We're like, Jimmy's kind of doing everything right. And I think everybody loves Bam for sure. But I think we've all kind of seen that Bam still has a lot to go as a scorer, and everybody kind of wants him to be there faster than he is. He can't punish guys on switches consistently enough. He doesn't get to the post on smaller guys consistently enough. And Jimmy's just kind of the one who's always doing the right thing and always stepping up, especially now when they need to climb themselves out of a hole. And Jimmy doesn't want to play like this. It's like, oh my God, the rest of his team. And then you're talking about Brad Wanamaker, like being that premier signing for the Warriors, is just not looking that great.
That's kind of
been Avery Bradley and Mo Harkless. Like, it's similar
I kind of want to
situation right now.
off of here because you said he was a premier signing.
Hey, that was your guy. That was
the parallels are there, man.
I want to say that the one difference between
Wiseman and Precious were teammates.
Oh my God. The one difference between this and Wade's 09 season to me is Wade was he was 27 that year, right? Or 26, 27.
Ish, yeah.
And so while he was like clearly in his prime and very much one of the 3 best players in the league, no matter what LeBron stands want to tell you, he had years ahead of him where he knew he was good. Right now, what we're dealing with the Warriors is like Steph is still one of the 3 best players in the NBA. It's hard to deny that when you watch him. But he's turning 33 in less than a month, and it just feels like this team is kind of like they should be all in committed to trying to compete for a title for the next couple of years while Steph is still playing at this absurd level. And instead they're doing this like long game thing, thinking they could be the Spurs and like they have like an 8-year window. And that's kind of what's frustrating.
I kind of feel like the Heat behaved the same. I mean, like in the Big Three, like they really thought that this would be forever. They
Luol
called
Deng was going to be the continuation. He was an extended.
No, it wasn't even Luol Deng. It was Josh McRoberts and who was the other motherfucker they signed that year?
Granger.
And Danny Granger, right? Like Pat's,
they drafted Shabazz. That was what they went into the pitch
South
with.
Beach Aristotle is out here giving LeBron these guys that nobody wants, and it kind of blew up in his face. And I mean, I know that this hasn't really happened to the Warriors, but like Miami kind of waited for Giannis, waited for guys to be available. And they got burned, and then they had no cap. Like they had, they let guys walk. They had no cap
similarity.
Yeah, they had no cap space to improve. They're just waiting on Giannis. They're waiting on a whale free agent, and that guy signed a supermax. Beal apparently wants to stay in an abusive relationship and doesn't want to leave Washington. Yeah, right. And they didn't want to pull the trigger on Harden because they felt like the Houston Rockets asked for too much. And now they're sitting here staring at 15 Mo Harkless minutes as they lose to the Clippers' third stringers. It's like, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean? Like you watch and the team has clear ailments and I don't know. It's like I can feel you, Andy, because like watching this team, it's like frustrating. And at least like Steph does cool shit every night. Like I'm just exhausted watching Jimmy. I feel bad for him.
Well, you guys have also been like the most. Have you guys had the worst luck with COVID? I mean, I know for like a month there. Have you had your whole team one game?
Like literally, like they had 8 guys, and Chris Silva was like guarding Joel Embiid post-ups. It was really sad.
So much Max Strus, so much Gabe Vincent. Like these guys are really earning the hell out of their two-way deals. Like they're getting so much bang for their buck on those deals because they're playing them so much.
It's been frustrating because Goran, Jimmy, and Bam have played 66 minutes all year. And Goran now is out with the groin injury, and at his age, you get a groin injury. God knows how long. And he was clearly rushed back the first time because they felt like they were treading water. And now you have an issue where Jimmy's not only playing heavy minutes, he's like playing almost all the second half, but he plays a taxing style, right? Like I know that Steph's kind of going in the paint more and kind of getting up on penetration and stuff, but Jimmy can only get free throws. Like Jimmy's not a good shooter. Jimmy's not a good mid-range shooter. Like he can get a little bit, if he gets in his bag. But I mean, most part, it's going downhill. It's going to the rim. It's offensive rebounding. It's getting fouled, and it's exhausting. It's taxing. It looks like it hurts. Alex, it looks like it hurts. He's getting whacked.
Definitely hurts.
Oh my god! And like,
And that's why I think he does this load managing thing. Like, remember last season when everybody was kind of complaining, like, "Oh, why isn't Jimmy giving you 23 plus every night?" And everybody was kind of complaining about his averages staying around 19. And my theory throughout the season, that's kind of how he load manages because of his play style, or like he can't do that 100% take it to the cup as much as you maybe want him to throughout the game, throughout the season, because he's already past 30. He's 31 at this point, and turning that up in the playoffs and just doing it for such an extended period of time, like that's got to be really taxing, man. And you mentioned Goran and Jimmy and Bam not playing together a lot. That's obviously really important because those are probably their three best players. And Goran,
not probably.
So they are. And Goran being out, like how you said, has exposed that problem where without him, like you really lack another guy who can go north south, who can collapse the paint, like you said, another shows. And like without Goran and somebody who's clearly on the decline as a 34-year-old point guard with leg injuries, like it's time for a shakeup, man. And it's hard to like I understand the criticism on Spo. I think it's fair because there is so much of the dribble handoff stuff, and Bam isn't really taking advantage of it when teams overplay. But he can only do so much with the roster that's in front of him. Like these guys cannot do that much as far as what they need them to actually add variety to the playbook. Because I do agree. They need to add variety. Like, I don't think they should be relying on Duncan as much as they are right now. And, with Goran being out, it's pretty limited, man. Tyler can't do it on his own, by the way. Like, I think that's kind of what we learned. He's improved, but he can't do what Goran does. He has to be next to a handler, like you pointed out.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Tyler Herro as a player? Because I feel like he's slowly becoming a lightning rod in the sense that like anyone who's not an elite player, but also not like a role player, he's better than a role player.
The Heat's like, Michael Porter Jr.?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like different people have different expectations for what they think what he is as a player now and what they think he will be as a player.
So I'm going to give you some stats I kind of was digging today. So Duncan and Tyler without Goran and Jimmy, the Heat have a minus 14 net rating and a 101 offensive rating. This is total shit. When Duncan and Tyler play with Jimmy, they're plus 9 net rating with a 112 offensive rating. Now we're getting somewhere. When Duncan and Tyler play with Goran, plus 17 net rating, 128 offensive rating. When they don't play with another ball handler and creator, they can't do shit. Tyler can't hub an offense, and obviously Duncan can't hub an offense. But I mean, let's be
it's not his role.
Color a surprise, right? But like those are and those guys, like, because I was thinking about it in the context of like, can those guys exist together? Because Tyler is going to be the guy that'll fetch you return for a star, right? Like Tyler is the guy that they clearly believed in. The organization felt this guy is going to take a leap where he can be an elite ball handler and scoring hub that we don't need to get another guy. We can get Avery Bradley, and that's fine. We don't need to get another scorer because, like, clearly in the playoffs and against the Lakers, they needed another scorer. And I know that guys were hurt, but like even before that, it was clear that they needed another guy to get points from the perimeter, and they don't have him. He's a lightning rod here. Like, he's polarizing. Obviously, like, there's a lot of elements that go into that. People like the spunky white kid. Like, it's just fact. Like, that's
shocking.
Like, and and he has like these stands and he's good enough to like justify some people like loving him, but like you can't say a bad thing about him. You can't suggest to trade him. Like, honestly, if you told me right now I trade Harrison Barnes for Tyler straight up, I'd probably do that.
I wouldn't do that.
I do that.
I would give.
I like that take though.
I love the choir of boos. That was fun.
Brian's like shaking his head. He's so disappointed.
Same.
I would give anything for the Warriors to be able to identify a talent like Tyler Herro. Like, I don't even know that Herro's ever going to be an all-star. I think he's going to.
Do you think he's special? I don't think he's special.
I think he's a second-year guard. I think he's a second-year guard who's averaging 17 points a game reasonably efficiently, and he can create his own shot. And that's all I'm gonna say to you is the Warriors drafted Jordan Poole and Jacob Evans and a lot of these guards who can't do anything. So maybe he's not a superstar, but he's objectively a win at what, 13th? The 13th pick? Is that what he was?
Yeah. Huge win. For that pick, absolutely, it's a huge win. And look, by the way, that
Everyone's bad at me on chat. Everyone's bad at me. Everyone's
Yeah,
bad.
I'm reading this. Pretty funny.
Yeah, he asked if you wanted Kendrick Nunn back.
Yeah, do you guys miss Kendrick Nunn at all?
You know, look, he's not.
The
he's
Warriors'
not-
goal is to have no one who can dribble the ball.
Yeah, like
He
Kendrick
can't
Nunn, I've
dribble
seen him-
either.
I've seen him take 3 dribbles without turning it over. Number one, I've seen him make a 3-pointer. Number two,
Might be that clip.
Look, the standards aren't high here. Like, we've got Jordan Poole, in the G League. He was a first-round draft pick. He's in the G League, and he had his first game. He has his first game yesterday that he scored 30 points efficiently. Before that, he was scoring like 23 points on 23 shots in the freaking G League. So, we'll take Kendrick Nunn because we are stuck with the likes of Jordan Poole and Nico Mannion.
Nice in the G League.
Yeah, you better be nice in the G League if you're.
Oh, I like this deal. Do you want to make it for Nunn and Harkless?
It's so.
Yo, I would
Let's
do
swap our garbage. Let's swap
Let's
our
do it.
garbage.
Oh, I would do that. I would do that right now. I would drive.
I'm so
I
done
would
with
drive
that.
Brad to the airport.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can we
I'll
go
drive
back
Nunn.
to Gianni's take of trading Tyler for Harrison Barnes?
Maybe I jumped the gun a second. Maybe I jumped the gun.
Yeah, I know.
I
Just
just-
jump the gun.
Harry B is a good fit. He's what they need. They need a power forward. They literally don't have one. They're playing poor Kelly Olynyk there. They don't have any scoring from the wing. Harry's been good this year. He's almost 50, 40, 90, shooting the ball well. He's a switchy defender, which, they don't have a guy at the 4 that can switch reasonably. Not that he's a stopper, but he'll survive. And anything to play less Andre. Because in the bubble,
their best asset their best non-Jimmy Bam asset for Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, what do we do after that? Is that it? That's the only move that we make? Is Harrison Barnes the guy who had the worst NBA Finals in history?
Tyler wasn't much better.
God,
Tyler wasn't much better, Brian. Tyler was pretty bad.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
I felt
Rookie
bad
Tyler.
for Harrison Barnes. I felt so bad for Harrison, especially because Draymond was lighting it up in Game 7, and Terry just couldn't hit shit. How do you guys experience that?
Well, Alan Smiley-Geach might be a good backup guy for Bam. I know that's a good one. You guys ever heard of him?
No.
Yeah. So you were saying how
Is that a
Duncan.
real NBA player? Did you just
I
make
went to
him
Summer
up?
League 2 years in a row. I know a lot about Smiley-Geach. The guy
You
is
just made that
A
name
lot,
up.
a lot of people are calling him the Serbian Wilt. So that's all I'm saying.
Could be the next Nikola. He has a good back to the basket, high IQ. I think he's balding at age 19, which is very impressive. So yeah, could be good in South Beach. Looks like
Joe
he
Ingles
needs it.
hybrid.
LeBron balded at a young age.
Yeah.
Smiley balding at a young age.
This is
Zero.
they have some. What do you like?
So much
What do
in
you
common.
guys?
So we need players like that. I think I forgot who said it, man. I think it was on Heat Beat. Somebody said that this Heat team is devoid of players that you can consistently make fun of like they have been in the past. And you guys having Smiley just for consistent content, I really miss that.
I think we're
anymore.
we're the reason he tore his meniscus. They're just these guys are roasting him too hard. Let's give him a surgery. Doesn't even matter
that's what
it
happened
is.
with Myers. I'm pretty sure it's what
Yeah,
happened with Myers.
we couldn't make any more standing anthem jokes, and now he can't. Now he'll not stand for a while.
Ever since he stood, he's been sitting.
He's been sitting. He's at home playing Call of Duty or whatever. I mean, they don't have. It just gets us upset because you have Olynyk, who you kind of need to play well, and you can't make fun of him for his goofy hair or anything. You just gotta be like, hey, KO, gotta hit some corner threes, gotta move, it's tough. It's tough. I wanted to ask you guys, from the outside, because Heat have obviously underperformed, and we can sit here in our Heat Twitter echo chamber and make excuses, right? We can say, well, they haven't been healthy. Well, Goran hasn't played. Well, if you look at the numbers and if these lineups are on the floor together, they're playing winning basketball. We could do all the bullshit and we could talk ourselves into once they get healthy, blah, blah, blah. But like Sam, you experience this team from the outside. You watch, what, do you think they just suck? What? Is this who they are?
I've literally given them a pass because they're the most COVID-laden team in the NBA. I don't buy that they're not going to make the playoffs. One, the East sucks. They have too many good players to not just they can put together a 3-week period and be fine. Now, if your question is, do I think they can compete with the top teams in the East this year? I don't know. I don't know where it's coming. I think it's just Phil. I really just think it's Philly and Brooklyn. I think Milwaukee's just as big of a joke as they were last year.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm with you though. Their defense has fallen off a cliff, and
I think the Heat are at this point capable of getting up to the same level as every team other than Brooklyn and Philly right now. That's where I'm at with them. And yeah, I mean, it's the same reason I don't really roast the Lakers too much. It's like, yeah, you guys played till mid-October. I'm not surprised you look awful right now, and it just looks like a bunch of dudes who don't want to play basketball.
Denver had the same thing. Like Denver started off really slow, right? Like Denver,
we're
Denver
1-10 against 500 teams or above.
Yeah, but Jimmy and Bam have only played like for 3 of those, and Goran has. I know. Listen, I'm with you.
I like Brian.
Brian's totally fucking right. It's like
next man up.
When a team shows you who they are, you should listen.
We have enough.
Yeah, we have enough.
That's a problem. It's a problem with the Warriors too. Is that every time Sam and I have someone that's not every day pissed off about Kelly Oubre on, they're like, "What? Well, like they're like, what do you got? Did you guys expect this team to be a top 3 seed? Like, did you expect this team to be like 8 games above 500?" And we're sitting here like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm sick of watching. Like I'm sick of watching. Steve Kerr talk about we're not trying to win. We're not trying to chase wins. Right? Like,
does he say that?
That's not what he said.
Does he
times.
say that?
That's not what this season's about.
There you go. Seriously, he said that.
I cannot imagine Spo saying that.
No,
really
Spo would never say that.
I would fire Spo on the spot if he said that.
The reason we love Spo is just because he's got the strongest immigrant dad vibes in the NBA. Just very there's no excuses. He's got like 2 guys off the street, a 2-way contract guy, and he expects him to win.
We have enough. That's what he's known for. He's said that as long as he's been around. We have enough. And he's been saying that throughout this whole time, even when they were sporting 8-man rotations for weeks at a time. That's incredible that Steve Kerr says that. He has Steph Curry out there.
That's such a West Coast thing to say.
I don't get it if your best players were out, but
I think he trolls. I think he legitimately trolls us. I think that's like it's.
Does Steph like hearing that?
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question. Steph and Steve are pretty aligned. They're pretty aligned on how they feel. I don't think Steph is mad about it.
I don't think Draymond likes hearing that.
I don't think Draymond likes hearing anything that anybody says.
Doesn't he like Kerr? He likes Kerr though, right?
Yeah, I think they're fine.
You guys need to get him on. You need the light years Draymond crossover where he's just unfiltered.
Is asking, do Warriors fans still like Draymond? Why wouldn't they? He's been good. Okay.
No, it's always just ever since he signed with Clutch, there's been a little bit of is he a Warrior first or is he Clutch Fine first?
Oh wow!
Wow.
He had his first double-digit game against the Mavs last week, and he gets online and immediately starts tweeting
first
Lakers
double-digit.
Yeah, by the way, first double-digit because despite the fact that Steph has given him 4-on-3 opportunities, 45 minutes a game, he still can't score 10 points. He's an NBA basketball player, by the way. That's like he is a real NBA player.
He's a real one.
10 points. So
he's
a real one.
How many?
I mean, honestly, he does lead this defense. Like he is. The defense is only good because of him. So
how many guys on the Warriors do you trust?
That's not bad.
Because I was thinking about that in the context of like how many guys on that team you're like, I trust you to be a basketball player. That's good.
Curry and Clay.
Clay's currently has like 4 different cats on him, so
I still trust him more than Wanamaker. But I would say like what Steph Draymond and what?
Who'd you say third? I'm sorry.
I don't know, like Wiggins, Sam, like half of Wiggins, maybe like Wiggins every other game. You would say
trust is a sliding scale. I trust Steph to do whatever.
Okay. We got Steph.
Draymond is still very much as smart as they come. He's really testing the boundaries of how effective you can be without being able to score the ball.
Another parallel between the Heat. You could say the same thing for Andre Iguodala, man.
We know. Yeah.
Draymond's just like Andre on steroids in that aspect.
Everyone else is kind of a placeholder. Wiggins has been fine for what he is. I like Wiggins. I semi-trust him. Everyone else, if they're gone tomorrow, I'm not going to cry.
Juan Toscano Anderson's a 2-way player, by the way. And he's probably the most trustworthy defensive player outside of. I'm not joking. Outside of Draymond,
No Wiseman.
I mean, he
I
might
like
be.
Wiseman. I like Wiseman. People are on Wiseman.
I like his talent. I'm a big fan of where he's going. That does not mean he's there yet. So I think those are two different things. Like, I'm a big fan of the prospect. Does that mean I want the ball in his hands at the end of a game in, tomorrow? Like he's not going to play against the Heat, but if he was, I'd like Bam's chances to strip him there.
Who would you rather have, him or Precious?
Wiseman. That's not even a That's not even a question.
I'm just wondering. I want to know.
We don't even want Precious.
Oh boy.
Wow. Hold on.
I have another question. I got another.
Do you want him? Hold on. Wait. Like, do you like? We haven't talked about this, but like, legit, like, how does he fit into their future? Because his free throw shooting is garbage. I don't see him ever playing next to Bam. I don't really ever see Bam being a 3-point shooter, like, ever. Like, if he does, it's like 5 years down the line. So I don't see how he and Bam can play together. So, like, at that point, I start to ask, well, like, should you try to move him for something and like fit more? Like, I don't.
That's fair. I understand throwing him in a package if you're going to throw in do something that's going to upgrade the team, and you got to weigh the cost. But in general, I'm still in on Precious. Like, I mean,
he's good.
Look, I understand the thought process behind drafting. You guys saying that, like, drafting a center who's mostly going to play behind Bam, and like you said, there's no, him and Bam playing together is not going to happen in the next couple of years, probably the next 3 years at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unless Bam really develops that three. And I'm not here to sell that, because that's not what I want Bam to do anyways. I want him to drive more inside and I start getting further and further away from the rim. But to me, Precious is still like showing you a lot for a rookie. I just don't think, like, for a guy that's going to give you 15 minutes a game, I think he does a pretty good job.
No, he's good. He's good. I don't want this to be like, I don't think he's good. Like,
I just think the whole point is a little bit overstated, because, like, drafting Tyrese Maxey, who everybody, fell in love with and who played well against the Heat, everybody's like, oh my God, they made a mistake.
Say his name.
Tyrese Maxey does not make a difference.
Say Nikias' name. Nikias.
Oh, that's funny, because that wasn't the name that came to mind. Shout out my guy, Frankie G. No, I'm playing around. But Tyrese Maxey, like, I think he's a good prospect. But, like, does he really make a difference on what's going on right now? Does he solve their point of attack defense? Come on, man. That's not. No.
Like, I don't hate the draft pick. I think it was like a good draft pick for where they were. I liked it, and I just think that they should look at moving him. Kind of going to Alex. I want to ask you the question I asked Andy and Sam. Like, who on the Heat do you trust? Because, like, after Jimmy and Bam and Goran's not even playing. Like, I guess you trust Tyler. Like, I feel like
Tyler and Duncan to a degree, but because I know what I expect of them. Like Sam said before, a sliding scale, right? Another parallel. Like, I trust Jimmy more than I trust anybody else. Then right under him is Bam, and then after that, I trust Duncan to do what he does at an elite level on any given night, knowing that he's not going to hit 5. I mean, look, man. I like I said at the beginning of the show, he's still giving you a good percentage for the type of way that he's getting defended and the type of circumstances that he's in, where he's apparently their number one offensive option outside of Jimmy getting to the rack and getting free throws. Like,
I mean, maybe if Bam looked at the rim, we could have.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Again, referring to the top of the show, like, they don't get what they need out of Bam in that aspect of the transaction, with the transaction being that dribble handoff that they run over and over and over and over again. Like, it's been scouted to death, and it could still be effective.
Oh, we have a live Heat rumor coming.
Oh, what's that?
Maybe this isn't it. The Heat have expressed interest in Rudy Gay.
Oh yeah, shout out my guy Clutch Adam from 5 Reasons Sports Network, who reported that.
LaMarcus Aldridge also.
No, not LaMarcus Aldridge. There's no. Under no circumstance.
I talked myself into LaMarcus on the Warriors.
Won't.
That's where I'm at. I'm just expiring deal. Nice.
Gee, I know you're against LaMarcus. I don't want you to get into your NBA Twitter hipster bag. That's not what I'm lobbying you up here for. What I will ask you is because I already know where this is going. I'm not here to try to get your opinion on LaMarcus.
Zach Lowe agrees with me. I feel good
any
about
other
that.
NBA podcast and get the same opinion. But no, really, what I'm going to ask.
That's so good. That's so good. That's so good.
I mean, we all have the same opinion about LaMarcus. Everybody said the same thing. But what I do want to ask is, like, if it didn't cost you much, like, the salary filler that we talk about over and over again, and you somehow get both Gay and Aldridge. I know these guys aren't going to fix everything for you, but would you be in on something like that where you're not really giving up much for guys like that?
Like,
but you do kind of give up stuff.
Like, I think that they're in a kind of a position where like they'll never find the guy that's like going to fix like their issues, right? Like what they're going to have to find are imperfect guys. It's either going to be
Rudy
guys
Gay is
that'll
like 80% of Harry B. So
guys that'll help your offense but not your defense. Guys that like are offensive players but not good 3-point shooters. I mean, Rudy, he's a 36% 3-point shooter this year. He's not a dead eye guy. I think they need I think he'd help, right? Like he's not really getting to the free throw line. He's not stressing the rim very much. He plays more in the mid range, and the Spurs have kind of been that way for a while. So like.
But he takes 3-4 threes a game. That same as Thad Young. I think Thad Young takes even.
I'd probably prefer Thad because I think just Thad solidifies your defense a little better, and he kind of positionally makes more sense at the 4. But like they have to solve switching. They can't deal with switching, right? And it's kind of loop Sam and Andy. And the scouting reports are out. Bam's not going to go at smaller dudes. So
you're saying basically that you're out on Gay being that type of guy?
No, like I would welcome it. Like obviously, like they need anybody. Like this team, like is one of the worst offensive teams in the league. Like I think they're right with the Warriors near the bottom. And it shouldn't be that way.
Wait, I didn't realize Bam was averaging 20.
Yeah, he is.
And we're still here. The
The
consensus is he's not aggressive enough.
He's not.
That's a good point.
I can see why though. It's not really the way he plays. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not really the.
But it's like
I love Bam. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I think this is one of these little guys that you're watching him every single day, every hour, and you're thinking of Bam so much. I think that's part of it. But
do you know how
we all
angry...
think of him? We saw him get ranked number 13 by ESPN, and everybody's like, okay, he's in that type of category now. And when they think of guys as top 15 players, they think a guy who's going to give you 25 whenever you need it. And I think that's just kind of how people look at it. I don't blame people for wanting for Bam to add to his game. Like it's frustrating at times, like just seeing him when he picks up his dribble at the top of the key, and it's like, well, now you could just overplay the handoff, and you're not really going to get beat by it because Bam isn't going to take you all the way to the rim. He's already picked up his dribble, and he does stuff like that all the time. And I think that's why we're so picky, like you said, because we watch every game and we know that he can be way better. Like we see him do these hezzies on slower guys all the time, and be like, well, why don't you do that every single time?
Their
or at least more
bad.
often.
When Bam plays without Jimmy and Goran, it's bad. Like the offense is bad. Like he can't hub an offense. Like when they leave him out with the bench units, they don't score. Part of that is they run handoffs, they switch. Fred VanVleet ends up on Bam, and Bam doesn't look at the rim. Right. And it's like teams are getting away with that. Teams are like, oh, we could just switch wings onto Duncan. We can guard Bam with a wing and then switch him onto Duncan. We blow up their pet action and they're not going to punish us. And Bam's not going to try to repost and seal. And they take 15 fucking seconds to get into their set. They'll do their little horn stuff. They'll screen for Duncan and pistol in the corner. Right. And then all of a sudden, when they switch the handoff, you have 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And, it's panic time with Bam at the elbow, right? And it's just like part of that's on Spo, which is why I get like fans being upset, and part of that's just like they need a guy. Roster. Yeah, no, they need a guy that is going to get downhill because when Duncan's coming off that hand up, nobody's scared of him. Nobody's scared of these dudes.
And it's hard to do both things though. Like LeBron, can do both, but it's like, man, you're asking him to be a top 5 player instead of a top. It's hard to be the main guy for both. To be
the other guy, his teammate does it. The other dude's doing it. Like Jimmy's doing it. Like Jimmy hubs their offense and their defense.
He is a vet. He is a vet. Bam's still what? 4 years in the league?
That's fine. Maybe we're being unreasonable. Maybe we're being unreasonable. But
you can always have Wiggins' contract. You guys can have Wiggins' contract.
You lose to some guy named Coffee and Garrison Matthews enough that you start questioning. Do you know who Garrison Matthew is?
Good shooter.
I'm pretty sure you made that name up. So
sounds white, yeah.
He's lit up the Heat on multiple occasions now. It's like an annual tradition now, even though he's only been in the league 2 years.
We're welcoming in our Photoshop and anime lover, Brass Jazz. Brass, you've been in there forever. You're ruining the bandwidth. You better have something good.
Ruining the bandwidth? No, I came here to kick you out for the Precious slander. So finally.
Thank you.
I'm not going to accept this. This is not okay.
I know, just trading Precious for no reason. Like that's why I hold Gianni accountable when I come on here the rare times I do, because he can't get away with these takes, Brass. I'm glad you're holding him accountable too.
It's insanity. And hi Sam, hi Andy, how you doing?
What's up, man?
I can't let him just run over our precious rookie like that. This is
By the way,
BS.
I just noticed. Shout out Andy for having like the City Knights Heat colors in the background. I just noticed that. Like it's like the Vice logo. Very nice.
You'll be shocked to learn that I love those jerseys. Just the way.
How do you feel
actually-
about this year's?
Sam is not shocked.
How do you
don't
feel about
want
this
to,
season's version of it?
The first piece of team merchandise of a non-Bay Area team I've purchased in over a decade is like a Heat jersey, like the Vice ones. They're
You
just
have the jersey?
Which one?
Dwyane Wade, of course.
What color?
Thank you.
For my favorite player, it's Warlock.
I want to say the baby blue one, the whichever one. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick myself when they discontinue these and don't bring them back for 20 years. So
You know what they did now though is like, you know how a lot of people will say, you know, TV shows shouldn't have more than two seasons. You know, people will have takes like that where like, you know, people will kind of take it too far. I think that's kind of what's happened this year, and I don't blame them just because Nike is kind of forcing everybody to do it now to come out with these jerseys. But man, I'm not in on the ones from this year, man. Like we've seen enough of a sample size now, and that matters with jerseys too. And
I think
I'm not
because
in.
the team is losing so much.
you know
I
what?
like
That
them.
might be true. I think that's why we didn't like the black tie ones either because they were losing.
Oh, the
in
black
them.
tie ones just sucked. Those were awful. Fuck that. Those are bad jerseys. Like the marketing really fucked up there. I like the ones now. I mean, I
Too bad
would
Myers
wear
wasn't here for those home strong jerseys.
for the home strong jerseys. It had Tyler Johnson and Dion's fat ass in them.
So
How
much
fat- would
camo. Myers Leonard
I
would
would
have gone crazy.
I would take Dion right now. I would take Dion so hard right now.
He's available.
I
Champ
take Dion
cheese.
over.
The buyout market, baby.
Jesus. I take him over Kendrick.
I'd forgive him so quick. I don't care what he said.
Oh no, I don't. He can have all the gummies he wants. I mean,
He
NBA
brought us so
champion
much
Dion
fun
Waiters.
times.
huh? What'd you say,
NBA
Alex?
champion.
Yeah, that was
Wait,
a pause. Good call.
Dion,
That was a
Dion
pause.
brought us a lot of fun times. And I'm just gonna look at him positively. I don't care what he said in the finals. Champ cheese, baby.
Dion's a content machine. Like, you know, when your team's bad and you're strapped for content. I mean, we've said this before.
That's what I'm
like,
saying, man.
You need a guy like Dion, right? You need a guy like Hassan. That keeps you going. You need
by
jump
the-
shots.
By the way, we love Jerry West out here because he figured out how to draft a couple guys, and our scouting department now can't figure out who to draft. But Jerry West actually loved Dion Waiters, so you know.
Fourth,
The guy recognizes talent clearly.
fourth best shooting guard. Are you-
best
are you-
friend.
Drafted fourth, for sure.
50% Kobe, 50% Wade. What else do you want?
Yeah.
Are you guys are firmly Dwyane is better than Jerry West, correct? Or do I have to kick you off the show?
I refuse to say anyone who played in black and white is better than anyone who played in color. Come on.
Thank
now.
you. That's all. Listen, that's fine. That's all I need to ask.
Dwyane Wade
I
is
like
my
that
third
rule.
favorite. Dwyane Wade is my third favorite player of all time. It's Steph, Nash, and Wade. Players of
That's
all
a
time
great
that I
take,
love.
Andy.
Just-
That's
just-
a great
I
take.
still remember when D Wade won the one game against, I think it was the Celtics or someone that drops like 50 or something.
Oh, we remember that.
Yeah,
46,
And then-
46 yelled at his
46.
46.
Yeah.
That's
Throws the ball down on the court. I was just like, as a kid, I loved him. I love Wade. Yeah, and now he loves Steph, so it all really works.
You know what I think the similarity between those three is, and I've been thinking about this a lot. None of them were supposed to be superstars, right? Like that. There's a character trait for guys who were not supposed to be the man who ended up proving that they're the man. That's infinitely more endearing than like someone who's been hyped up since they were 12 years old. You know. I don't know how else to put it, but
That's
it's
a good
like, I
point.
mean, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green both have that same characteristic in their own ways. They're obviously different types of players, but it's just like Jimmy wasn't supposed to be a star, and he just like, you know, kind of like, fuck you, you know, I'm just gonna do it, right? So it's I don't know. I feel like that's why you like sports, right? Like no one likes like the commercial, like, oh, this 16-year-old is gonna be the greatest thing ever, and he's already a multi-billionaire at this age, and we know he's great, you know.
LeBron. Like,
Hey, at least he backed it up. I'll give him that.
Speaking of
LeBron, Zion, right? Like these guys that are young and they get the like. I mean, I don't follow high school sports, but like I knew Zion's name. I was like, okay, this
Here's
is some kid that's gonna be good.
here's
Yes,
a better
he's been
connection
on
point.
YouTube. Yes.
LaMelo Ball. How do you guys feel right now after the way he started out?
I just heard their podcast on this.
You guys ready to go 3 hours? No.
I do listen to Light Years, but I just wanted to lob him up.
Well, Sam,
sir.
you were wrong. You were wrong
Yes,
on him. You didn't think he was going to be as good.
I was wrong on him. You're right. But
Me
you know
too.
what? I'm not a exec in the front office, so I can be wrong.
I'm paying $10 million to Sam.
You're not.
I mean, if you
Bay Area
want to,
Aristotle.
I'll do a lot more film work. I don't know, man. I hate it because like I want Wiseman to be good, but it's just very hard to watch LaMelo and not think,
Yeah,
this could
cool
be.
guy.
First off, he fits perfect with Steph. Well, everyone can play with Steph. That's not a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But secondarily, it's like it's annoying watching him being like, man, him plus Steph plus Brad Wanamaker could be really fun. You know, like it could be. I don't know. It could get him closer to what we want, which is them competing for a title.
Okay, so we're wrapping up. We're running on time. We can't keep Sam and Andy all night. They play tomorrow. I asked you guys already, like, you know, if you guys thought it was more COVID excuses or not. Like, huh? What happened? What'd you say?
Oh, was that me? Was that me?
Yeah, I thought you said.
No. Connection issue.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. The connection's been weird. We're trucking along. They play y'all tomorrow. I know that the Warriors haven't won 3 straight. Like, is it, you know, does the fan base look as, and I like this because like we don't really, you know, we have like national people on or whatever, but it's nice to talk to like people that are more kind of entrenched in like, you know, community Twitters and stuff like that. Like, is this something that, you know, the fan base is like, oh, Peter playing like shit. You know, we should get this, and then we'll be close to finally getting 3 in a row, because I know the Warriors haven't had that yet. No,
I don't
Andy?
think so. I think the Warriors. I think Warriors fans are thinking chalking this one up to an L. I think they think
Why?
like what? Well, I mean, it's Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo.
Is that it? Is that like that's all it is?
That's pretty much it. This is a team like they're a top 5 defense, but I don't take the defense that seriously because I think that they lock down against bad teams. They beat the Cavs by like 30 last night, and it's like they'll play great defense against those guys. But a lot of the times, you talk about Steph's MVP case, and I don't personally care whether he's in the MVP race or not. He's great as is, but they've got to win some games against some teams that are good at basketball. And I know what you guys have said, like this team
We're the
is not
same.
good right now. I know.
Spider-Man meme.
But anytime that the Warriors have gone up and played any type of team that's good at basketball, they've lost the game by at least like 15 points. And so this is another one. Maybe Miami is more on the Dallas level of like they're kind of a fringe playoff team right now. But I don't think by any means Warriors fans are saying this is a win. I think it'd be nice if they won, but I think a lot of Warriors fans are looking at this like, yeah, Jimmy Butler's probably going for 30. Bam's probably has 15 offensive rebounds tonight. Who's guarding them? Like who the fuck's guarding them?
I also
That's gonna
think
go for 50.
I also think it's like this has been a weird season. Like 3/4 of the teams in the league are around 500. You know, maybe a couple games under, maybe a couple games over. And so I think everyone's just kind of defaulting to last year and what they think is who is a good team and who is not. And like the Heat were very good last year, and they obviously went to the finals and had a great bubble run. So. And, you know, I don't think fans are looking at it like, oh, man, they're 11-16. They're not that good. They're looking at it as, oh, everyone's healthy now. That's a challenging team.
I would like to agree with you, but I saw them pretty healthy lose to Clippers third strings. And like they have this thing where their defense has been okay. They've been like a top 10 defense, but it's kind of fake because every team's separated by like 0.5. It's so fake. And they're punching above there. I think they're closer to like 12, 13 than they are to 10, right? Which is fine.
Tiffany,
Tiffany, what?
No, I was gonna say Tiffany on Hangover Time was saying it. I mean, she was going in on it yesterday. I thought she did a great job, like she always does. But she was talking about how undisciplined they are on defense and all the mistakes they were making. And I know last night was worse than others because that's how you lose to the Clippers without Kawhi, Paul George, Pat Bev, and Batum, by just being absolutely terrible on defense. But man, they have had so many games like that where like the defensive intangibles and just kind of guys nailing rotations like they were last season. It's not there at all for a consistent stretch. Like their defense needs a complete buffering. And tomorrow, I'm going to say it right now, I think Jordan Poole is going to go off. I'm trying to think of another guy.
He's going to have
like
a career night. No, he will definitely have a career night. Everybody we played has had their career nights against us.
Every time. Sure. And it's always a random shooter because the Heat allow a shit ton of threes. And it's like a huge theme throughout the season is that the teams are missing. are making them at a higher rate than they were last year, and they're not sharp with the closeouts. They're not sharp with the defensive rotations. Somebody's gonna go off, and I'm trying to think.
Remember the name, Michael Mulder.
Oh, we know Michael Mulder.
I forgot he was in here. Oh yeah, Mulder and Nunn. We can swap them. Then we can both be unhappy and swap them back.
Swap them back.
It's just a revolving door of misery.
So I say Poole, you say Mulder. I think it's gonna be one of them though. Watch, somebody's gonna go off and hit like 5 threes. Watch.
Maybe Damian Lee, maybe.
David, Alex, I'll bite back a little bit because I think last year their defense was fucking cataclysmic before the trade.
No, but I was talking about mostly the bubble.
No,
defense,
yeah, I
I
think last night was just a weird game. I don't think that they're that bad defensively, and I think probably they were focusing a lot on offense. But
I've lost confidence in their defense. When Bam is always on the perimeter. When Bam is on the perimeter,
but the overswitching.
I'm terrified.
I'm done with the overswitching. They overswitch and they're very willing.
Thing. Once again, it's like the chicken or the egg conversation with the Heat. Like I think that Bam.
I thought they looked good,
but man, like he needs to be on the back line, and he doesn't trust his perimeter defense. He doesn't.
I'm fine when they drop.
His team perimeter defense is what I meant to say.
Like if they get beat and if Jimmy's that help man, I'm okay with it. Because the issue with yesterday
he's the only one that could do it.
Okay, but the issue with yesterday wasn't it's good coaching by Ty Lue. They were looking for threes from the wings and not from the corners, right? And because Jimmy's that help man from the corner, he's coming in, he's digging in on drives.
I looked up Garrison Matthews. He looks exactly like I would expect him to look.
Imagine losing to that twice. Imagine losing to that twice.
He went off, like he went crazy in two straight years of this. Like it's insane. One time it was
Justinian Jessup vibes.
Ooh,
career night.
With a legend.
Peyton Pritchard. I mean, I don't know. They're different types of players, but he beat the Heat on a game winner. So losing to these guys.
We need to bring up Nico Mannion tomorrow. Then Nico Mannion's a good guy for you guys to play. Then that'll probably be a good one. He's so pale. He looks like blinding.
Do you guys know what a random scrub Heat killer is? RSHK. It's like a Heat Twitter thing where, like,
who
legitimately,
every team has those guys. Who's your guys?
Who?
Oh, first ballot Hall of Famer Marcus Thornton. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Andy, who the Warriors won? The first one that pops to mind is Will Barton.
Will Barton's a huge one.
He's good. Will Barton's good. Will Barton's good.
No, but he's great. Will Barton becomes KD. Like that's Will Durant to you against the Warriors. You know,
that 15-footer is just butter, just 20 in a row. No,
Ellington used to kill the Heat. Ellington was
good
really
that you mentioned butter, by the way, because shout out Dos Minutos. Like somebody is gonna shoot like butter, smooth like almond milk tomorrow, man. It's gonna be somebody from the Warriors roster. He wanted me to get in a milk reference somehow, so that's me
no brand.
Get caught in a butter situation.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that
the Heat Warriors guys with Heat insiders?
Inside Heat broadcaster John Crotty called something the butter zone. I'm not even sure what the butter zone was, and he keeps
butter
saying
situation.
this butter situation. He keeps saying this
situation. He said butter situation.
He calls it the butter zone too, and finally his play-by-play guy Eric Reed says,
everything
what is the butter zone? And he's like, I don't know. He made that shit up.
Eric Reed was not there to help on the backline defense like he always was with Tony. He's checked out.
He just did not rotate to help at all.
Eric Reed and Bam are simpatico.
Tomorrow should be fun. Alex, their defense is better than it was last year, but it sucks. Their offense sucks. There's no hope, but at least we can laugh. At least we have jokes. Thank you to Sam and Andy. Check out their podcast, Light Years. Check out everything. We want to plug anything. What do you guys got?
That's it. Check out the pod.
Check out the pod. That's it. Check out the pod.
It's good, guys.
Every night.
It's legit.
And goal to get Steve Kerr fired. Is that the end game here?
The goal is for Steve Kerr to coach like he gives a shit about the basketball season. That's the goal.
There you go. Dunking the lob once again.
Guys, sir, what up, man?
Yeah, superstar Nikias dropping in. Nikias making time out of his superstar schedule to join. But not for real, guys.
Nikias coming in the fourth quarter to sit courtside.
Yeah. Light Years is a great pod, even if you're just an NBA fan who wants to listen, and it's good perspective. It's funny. It's if you like the show, you like Light Years. It's really fun. The guests are great. Last episode with Andrew Sharp was outstanding as always. Gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for us. We appreciate joining our nonsense. Out You and Twitch channel. Thank you so much for Twitch chat. You guys are great. Join our Patreon if you don't already. We have a poll up for a watch party tomorrow or Monday or no, Thursday or Monday. I'm losing my day's track. Join our Patreon. We have a lot of rewards. We have a newsletter that goes out for one of our Patreon tiers. Another is a watch party tier. We have other great rewards. So check that out. Patreon.com/Miami Heatbeat. Check out all the stuff we're doing with Twitch. And remember, pre and post game shows every game, even on the West Coast. So Alpha's hosting Hangover Time after every Heat game. And obviously Jack and I have you covered pre-game. We're killing ourselves here. We're murdering ourselves on this West Coast trip. We all work. We all have day jobs when we're doing this for y'all. Andy, Sam, thank you. Alex, Brian, y'all the best.
Klay Thompson's a Satanist.
Appreciate you guys. This is fun. Actually, guys, we're gonna